Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another episode of Build a Figure. This is just a series where we check out custom figures, head sculpts, outfit sets, we do kit bashes, you name it. But most importantly, we build figures. Today, we're going to be upgrading Sideshow's Eric Draven with a couple of parts and pieces from the Hot Toys release. Now, I actually collaborated with Dean Knight on this one. He's a massive Crow fan, and he mentioned in one of his videos he wanted to get the Hot Toys one back into his collection. So we split the cost, I got the accessories I wanted, and Dean got to keep the figure. So now, I'm able to take all of the best parts and pieces, the ones that I was looking for at least, from the Hot Toys figure, and give them to the Sideshow release. I don't want to make it sound like the stock Sideshow Eric Draven is bad in any way. It isn't. I actually really like the way it comes stock out of the box. So my aim with this video is to accent what they've already given us rather than going too crazy. Maybe. Anyway, starting off with the first upgrade, it's the Hot Toys oval style Crow display base. It is less modern than the Sideshow base, but it's got a logo on it and a nameplate. Plus, the old school oval design helps with the 90s vibe of the film itself. The Crow is an older movie, so it makes sense to me that he should be standing on an older style display base. Would I like a diorama base with the window behind him? Absolutely. But for now, this, I think, is going to do just fine. A nice to have, maybe not an essential piece. This is the Sideshow or Hot Toys exclusive accessory from back in the day. It's the weather vane from the end of the movie. The detail on this thing is absolutely insane. It's got this mottled metal texture to it. There's a lighter brown dry brush to make it look slightly rusty, and a silver dry brush as well. The only thing to watch out for with this piece is it's made of plastic and it's very thin towards the tip, so do be careful not to put too much pressure on it when you're trying to wedge this into his hand if you somehow manage to get one of these for your Sideshow Crow. I've always wondered if you're supposed to call Eric the Crow, or if that's just the name of the comic book and the movie, and then the bird is the Crow. Do let me know down in the comments. The next upgrade that we're taking a look at from the Hot Toys figure is the Flight Pose Crow. The detail on this is also insane, just like the weather vane. The feathers have a ton of sculpted texture on them, the eyes are painted in gloss, the beak is picked out in a different shade of black, and the feet are a little bit shiny as well. But it comes with its own weighted flight pole. You plug it into the back of the bird, and then you can make it look like it's flying behind Eric, which looks something like this. The effect is going to be quite convincing because the translucent flight pole will sort of blend in with the background. It literally just plugs into the crow's behind. I found that the flight pole and the weighted stand work best when they're facing this way in line with the body of the crow, because otherwise it's too front heavy and the bird tends to topple the stand over. Just mess around with it, I'm sure you'll be able to get it to balance. Oh, this is, for me personally, the most essential upgrade we're going to look at today. I've never once liked how Sideshow does their exclusives. They always give us the best accessory with the exclusive, which is fine if you don't want collectors to go anywhere near the standard release, so they sit around in stock forever. I reckon they should make, for Eric for example, the hand with the hole in it the exclusive. That way, yes, it's a nice to have, but if all that's left is the standard, you're not missing out on a super important accessory to the look of Eric Draven, like the guitar. Anyway, the Hot Toys guitar, I think, looks phenomenal. We've got the real fishing wire for the strings. You can move this lever back and forth. It's painted in gloss black. There's detail around the back of it. And the strap, which is made of some kind of pleather, luckily is in good condition. So far, nothing has deteriorated on my Crow. And fingers crossed, this strap stands the test of time. The hands that Sideshow give us aren't perfect for the arms stretched out pose. The Hot Toys ones, though, on the other hand, are perfect for it. They've splayed out the fingers just the right amount, and they're quite well painted. There's skin texture on the surface, the duct tape is nice and glossy, and they've even made it look like it's wrinkled and it's sticking to itself, as duct tape or electrical tape, someone corrected me because I said duct tape in the Sideshow video, often does. This I didn't actually get from Dean. It wasn't part of the deal because I couldn't very well leave him with a Hot Toys Eric Draven without a head sculpt now, could I? So I picked up this head sculpt separately on eBay. And compared to the Sideshow one, I like the option of having two different expressions for Eric Draven. One a little bit more serious, and the other slightly less so. He's got this big grin, the eyes are well painted, the makeup looks more accurate, and I dig how the hair has these individual little strands on it versus the Sideshow one where the hair is more clumpy, if you will. But we do have a slight issue with using this Hot Toys head sculpt on the Sideshow body. It's got a fixed neck, whereas the Sideshow head sculpt doesn't. So we are going to have to do some surgery on the Hot Toys head to get it to work on the body. Surgery went really well. This was surprisingly easy to do. I was worried because of the thickness of the neck that I was going to be dremeling this head sculpt for hours. That wasn't the case. I didn't even start off with the Dremel, in fact. I grabbed myself some angled snips that you'd normally use for a model kit. I took off most of the neck that way, then I switched to the Dremel to clean up the edges and create a socket for the double ball peg to slide into. So now, bringing in the Sideshow body, popping it on the neck, it actually properly sockets in place, it's secure, it's not going anywhere. And it still retains all of the stock range of motion, just like the Sideshow head sculpt. This is not really an upgrade, it's more so a bonus. I don't really know how to describe it. Anyway, I want to do a little bit of a repaint on the Sideshow head sculpt. When he first puts on the makeup towards the start of the film, it's very opaque, and his lips are a lot blacker than this, and the makeup around the eyes is more prominent. So I'm going to take the Sideshow head sculpt from looking like this to looking like this. I did exactly what I said I was going to. I added more black to the eyes and I darkened up the lips. I also widened the base part of the lines above the eyebrows. Adding the guitar into the mix, I'm very happy with how this is turning out so far. I'm basically trying to build myself a DX Eric Draven. All of the accessories from both Hot Toys and Sideshow's versions with two head sculpts. I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to root the hair. That's a future Justin problem. I do want to show some love to the Sideshow sculpt with the repaint because the neutral expression with the guitar on is going to work really well in a pose where he's walking towards us with the Hot Toys crow flying behind him. If you're wondering why I didn't just get the Hot Toys Eric Draven, well, for two reasons. Number one, I prefer the proportions on the Sideshow body, and number two, pleather. Pleather is pleather and pleather flakes, so even if I got a good Hot Toys Eric Draven today, tomorrow it might not be as good. The pleather eventually is going to flake and look terrible. Whereas this Sideshow one is using thicker, sturdier pleather, and it's a relatively new release in comparison to Hot Toys. So while it will deteriorate one day, it's got a head start. It doesn't already have 5+ years of degradation sitting inside a box if I was to grab a sealed Hot Toys one. I'm pleased to report that the articulation on the Sideshow body is so good that you can bring both arms around the front and get him to hold onto the Hot Toys weather vane two-handed. Plus, the Sideshow gripping hands are a tight enough grip that they hold onto this very securely, even though they weren't ever really designed to do this. This is why I wanted the Hot Toys hands to sell this pose. I don't know why, it's just an iconic pose I guess. I can't get enough of the way he looks like this. No jacket, Hot Toys head sculpt, and the Hot Toys hands on. I've been rocking him looking like this, granted with the Sideshow hands and head on, ever since the review. Now, I reckon these pieces take this pose to the next level. Unfortunately, it's not perfect. The skin tone is slightly darker on the Hot Toys hands compared to the exposed skin tone parts on the Sideshow body. I could paint something, whether it's the body or the hands. I just don't think it's necessary. The hands are far enough away from the body that it doesn't jump out at me too much. It's not a deal breaker. What might be is I could not find black wrist pegs anywhere in the collection room for the life of me. I'm going to have to get some off eBay because the skin tone ones, while you can hide them with the excess fabric for the sleeves, if you get more dynamic with the posing and the sleeves right up, showing off these skin tone wrist pegs is a no-no. I think it ruins it, and it jumps out that there's a break between the sleeves and the hands themselves. Wrapping up on another episode of Build-A-Figure. Today, we upgraded Sideshow's Eric Draven, using some parts and pieces from the old Hot Toys figure, and we did a cheeky little repaint as well. You'll have to let me know if you think I did the late great Brandon Lee justice with my own version of a DX16 scale Crow. It's a Frankenstein figure. It's the Hot Toys head sculpt with some Hot Toys hands, some Hot Toys accessories, the Sideshow body, and a repainted Sideshow sculpt. Whatever you think of it, weigh in down in the comments below, but I had a ton of fun doing this. I love the Build-A-Figure series. This is my all-time favorite series on the channel, and I am so freaking glad that I got started doing these customs. Because busting out some paints and a Dremel and cutting and filing and getting something to work that otherwise really shouldn't is what it's all about. Make your own figures and have a bunch of fun while doing it. Now, I do have to say a massive thank you to Dean Knight for collaborating with me on this project and making it possible. We went 50-50 on a Hot Toys Crow, he kept the figure, and I got the accessories that I was looking for. Do check out his channel, I have popped a link in the description below. Before he sent me everything, he even went ahead and did a modern day re-review of sorts on the Hot Toys Eric Draven. So, well worth checking out. I love Dean's content. While you are down in the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.